It's 4:30 on WKYT this morning. Hope was restored briefly, but family members of a missing Lexington native and her husband say the couple is still missing.
Authorities are now looking at possible warning signs that might have been missed leading up to the Brussels terror attacks.
And a European trip planned for a group of Central Kentucky high school students is now raising safety concerns among parents.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning from WKYT and welcome. I'm Bill Bryant.
Good morning there. I'm Michelle Chamberlain, and it's a beautiful morning so far.
It is,
right?
Thursday the 24th, and you're right about so far because the word is as we get into the day, we're going to get a lot of wind and some storms as well. Meteorologist Micah Harris is up and at it. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, it feels great outside, and the thing that's happening right now, these winds are getting going, the system's moving a little bit closer, and you'll see a wind advisory go into effect from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. later on this afternoon for most viewing area. Now, we'll head off into the afternoon, and look at these temperatures already in the 60s, some upper 50s. We'll finish off upper 60s to around 70 degrees. And by the afternoon is when the storms come rolling on through. I'm going to show you what you can expect out of these storms, any severe weather within this, and also the timing on this coming up.
Okay, we'll see you shortly. Thank you.
The wait continues for a family and friends of a missing Lexington native and her husband. No one has heard from Stephanie and Justin Schultz since the terror attacks at the Brussels airport on Tuesday.
For a few hours yesterday afternoon, hope seemed to be restored as some family members thought the couple had been found. Unfortunately, that news turned out to be false and made an already emotional day much tougher.
It gives you just an extreme high and then an extreme low, and when you're tired and frustrated, extremes are never good.
We're told that Stephanie's dad has left Lexington and is flying to Amsterdam, where he then will travel to Brussels to be with his wife as they wait for news about their daughter.
Justin Schultz's brother was the one who announced on social media yesterday afternoon that the couple had been found, but he later said the State Department had given the family incorrect information and that the couple is actually still missing.
The deadly Brussels terror attacks killed more than 30 people and left 270 wounded. Now several bombers are dead, including two brothers, but authorities say at least one alleged attacker is still on the loose. And now we're learning about potential warning signs that were missed. Mary Maloney explains.
Investigators say two suicide bombers hit the Brussels airport. The man on the left is identified as Najim Lashrawi. Prosecutors say he made bombs in the deadly Paris attacks. Investigators say the man in the middle is Ibrahim El-Bekraoui, the second suicide bomber. Last year, he was deported to Belgium for his ties to terrorism. Investigators say the unidentified man on the right dropped off a large bag of explosives at the airport. Now, he's on the run. Police say El-Bekraoui's brother, Khalid, detonated his own bomb at a metro station an hour after the airport attacks. Earlier this year, Interpol issued a notice connecting him to terrorism. The taxi driver who picked up the suspected attackers led police to an apartment. Inside, investigators found bomb-making materials, including acetone and hydrogen peroxide, detonators, a suitcase full of nails and screws, and about 33 pounds of the explosive called TATP, enough to make multiple bombs. In a trash can on the street nearby, investigators found a laptop. On it, messages from Ibrahim stating he was, quote, in a rush. If he takes too long, he will end up with him in jail. Belgium investigators believe he was referring to Salah Abdeslam, one of the ringleaders of the Paris terror attacks, who was captured last week. Officials warned the threat is not over as people mourn the dead and desperately search for the missing.
I guess I didn't know how much one person can love another until you just don't know where they're at.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Lincoln County school officials still haven't decided whether to go forward with a planned educational trip to France and England for next month. Dozens of Lincoln County high school students have been planning the trip for more than a year, but after the Brussels attacks, some of them are worried and asking if it's even safe. The U.S. Department has issued a travel alert for Europe through June 20th. The Lincoln County superintendent says school officials met last night to go over some options. Now they're planning to discuss those options tonight during a meeting with parents before deciding what to do.
If you have planned a trip to Europe but you want to cancel because of the attacks, your options may be limited. According to travel insurance comparison website Square Mouth, fear of traveling is not a covered reason to cancel a trip on standard travel insurance policies. But if you're heading to Brussels and bought travel insurance before Tuesday, you may be eligible to cancel your trip if your policy includes terrorism coverage. If you have travel insurance and your current travel is impacted because of the attacks, you may have coverage under a travel delay benefit. Now, for the latest on the Brussels attack, keep checking our website, WKYT.com, and you can also find updates on the WKYT News app.
3 people have been arrested after a police chase that crossed 2 central Kentucky counties. Paris police said someone in Bourbon County told them that someone had fired a shot at him. The shooter then drove off and the man started chasing him. Paris police and Bourbon County sheriff's deputies soon spotted the suspect's car and started chasing it as well. The chase then continued into Scott County and Georgetown police joined in to the help. The chase ended on Main Street in Georgetown near the Scott County Courthouse, and police say 3 people in the car were arrested. No injuries were reported. A Danville police officer has resigned nearly a month after investigators say he was involved in a crash while off duty. Investigators now say alcohol may have been a factor in that crash. WKYT's Monique Blair talked to the driver of the truck police say the officer's car hit.
Dwayne Brown was driving on Kentucky Highway 2168 one February afternoon when he saw a car coming towards him losing control. He swerved his truck, attempting to get out of the way.
There's no way I could do it. I mean, just going what I would call crazy fast.
Brown's truck and the car collided.
I remember saying a prayer that said, "Lord, hang on to me."
Brown didn't find out until later that the driver of the car that hit him was allegedly off-duty Danville police officer Ryan Hundley. Now you can still see the tire marks here from the car Ryan Hundley was allegedly driving. You can see how they move and cross over into the lane of oncoming traffic. According to the Danville Advocate Messenger, the accident report states Hundley later admitted to drinking prior to the accident. Back in November, we told you about Hundley after he pulled a Boyle County school bus over while off duty and then boarded the bus to confront a student regarding his daughter. On Wednesday, the Danville Police Department announced Hundley has resigned from the department. He hasn't worked since the accident due to his injuries. Brown also suffered minor injuries in the wreck.
Do you forgive him?
Oh, absolutely. Without question. I've never harbored him any ill will at all.
Brown says he does believe Hundley made a good decision regarding his resignation, but now he's focusing on moving forward.
I feel like I'm very blessed to be alive. Beyond lucky.
In Boyle County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Neither Danville police or the Boyle County Sheriff's Office would talk about the investigation into the crash. Our calls to the Commonwealth's Attorney Office were not returned.
A Clark County grand jury will now consider the case against a man charged after a deadly fire at an apartment building. A judge made that decision yesterday during a preliminary hearing for Jackie Heisel Jr. Winchester police charged him with manslaughter after 3 people died in the fire earlier this month. Heisel admitted to us that he smoked while using his oxygen machine and it caught fire. During yesterday's hearing, police testified that before the fire, Heisel had been warned not to smoke while using the machine. The judge also denied a request from the defense to lower Heisel's bond from $1 million.
We felt it's appropriate given the fact that 3 individuals lost their life in that fire, and given the conditions of bond, we believe that amount was a correct amount.
State Police, the State Fire Marshal, and the Winchester Fire Department are handling the investigation into the fire.
A second person now faces charges in connection to human remains found in Harlan County. State police arrested 30-year-old Kayla Curtis last night and charged her with murder, evidence tampering, and abuse of a corpse. Tuesday night, police arrested 26-year-old Michael Curtis on the same charges. Police say the remains were found yesterday morning in a wooded area near the Kaywood community. Police sent the remains to the state medical examiner's office in Frankfort for identification.
The State House has unanimously passed a bill that would change the way DUIs are counted in Kentucky. Right now, the DUI look-back period in Kentucky is 5 years. That means 5 years after a conviction, the counter is reset, and a new DUI would be considered the first offense. But this bill would change that period to 10 years. The bill has the support of Mark Hinkle's family. The Lexington attorney died last year after police say he was hit by a suspected drunk driver while riding his bicycle in Scott County.
We're 10 months into this. You know, it's baby steps right now. We can only deal with what we can deal with at a day at a time, and right now, this was our main focus today, to get this passed.
The bill has already passed the Senate, so it now heads over to Governor Bevin for his signature. It was filed as an emergency, so if he does sign the bill, it would take effect immediately.
Police have arrested a man in connection to a deadly ATV crash in Mason County. Maysville police charged 38-year-old Jacob Horch with manslaughter and DUI. Now, according to the Ledger Independent, investigators say he was driving the ATV yesterday morning when it hit a rut, throwing 36-year-old passenger Stephen Marshall off of the vehicle. They say the ATV then landed on Marshall, killing him. Tonight, Grammy Award-winning singer Chris Stapleton will return to his hometown in eastern Kentucky to play in a free concert. Stapleton will perform at 7 at the Johnson Central High School gym in Paintsville. Tickets have already been given out for the concert. People in Johnson County say they're excited for Stapleton to return home.
I've been here a long time, and I remember when Chris was in school, and for him to have made it big and to come back and do this for our community it's just fantastic.
Now, the school's principal says Stapleton is also donating $60,000 worth of musical instruments to the Johnson Central Band. He also plans to perform for students and staff this afternoon. What a nice guy.
Absolutely. No matter how big he makes it, home is home, right?
Home is always home, right?
Right. Time this morning is 4:41, and WKYT this morning is just getting started here on your Thursday.
Yeah, you won't believe the secret ingredient in these protein cookies. That's up next in today's Mom's Everyday Minute.
We have the 50s and 60s outside this morning. Not this afternoon, but this morning, which means here comes some storms in the forecast. I'll show you when that moves on through, coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
It's actually a really good start to the morning. Very nice conditions with gusty winds. Those gusty winds out of the south has helped us out big time. With our temperatures early this morning, upper 50s, lower 60s. And we'll get in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees later on this afternoon. And even some locations, I believe, will be there in the lower 70s. And it's going to be a really good feel until the storms roll on through. So outside at the moment, we're in the 50s and 60s. We'll finish off, like I said, right there around that 70-degree reading. But the rain really picks up as we get off into the afternoon and evening. The timing on this is really off into the evening and into the night, where we start to see the severe weather threat slide on through. Remember, low-end severe weather threat is about as low as you can get, but it's still there, so an isolated cell or two will be with this line as it rolls on through. Let's take you hour by hour. Let me show you what's going to be happening so you can plan out your day. Here's 3 p.m., right? I want to show you this, and this is what this model, and we've talked about this the past 3 days since we've been talking about the severe weather threat. These models are continuing to throw out showers and maybe a rumble of thunder out ahead of the main line. The main line's still well back toward the west. This is 3 p.m. So kids getting ready to come home for school, 3 to 4 p.m. It looks like it's just going to be a few showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder. The severe weather threat or the strong thunderstorms will be back toward the west, not even in our viewing area just yet. So that's good news for us, because what that does is it limits a lot of that instability from getting going. Look at Prestonsburg at 76 degrees. That's at 3 p.m. So all that moves toward the east, and then here comes the actual line of thunderstorms that will be strong thunderstorms with a couple of embedded severe cells. Meaning, just expect a lot of lightning and also some strong winds and some heavy downpours. But the severe weather threat still looks like we're going to take you off toward the evening and even off into the night until around midnight is when it fades. But I would say anywhere from 4 to about 6 p.m. back toward the west. Here around Lexington, anywhere from, say, 5 p.m. to about 8 p.m. And then we slide over toward the east. You're talking about 9 p.m. to about midnight is when this slides on through. After midnight, it's long gone, and that cooler air, much cooler air, slides on in. We'll be sitting right around 50 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be a big swing of temperatures And then we head off towards Saturday, and we jump it right back up to there in the lower 60s with mostly sunny skies. Obviously, guys, all eyes are on today with that strong to possible severe weather as we slide off into the afternoon and evening. And then it looks like Friday, much cooler. Saturday and Sunday, much better. Remember, Sunday, we've talked about that it's late in the day, evening and night when you start to see that rain roll on through. So most of your day will actually be dry as you take off around 70 degrees. I mean, it'll be a really good Easter day there on Sunday.
That's good. And then that rain looks like it rolls into Monday.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. We got a little bit more to go.
All right, Micah, thank you very much. You were talking about this yesterday, trying to trick the little ones into eating their greens, right?
Oh,
Their
yeah.
veggies.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
So moms sometimes have to get a little creative to get the little ones to eat healthy, right?
It's very true. In today's Mom's Everyday Minute, we have a solution with a surprise ingredient.
Hi, today we're in the kitchen with Tara Verma, blogger at Yummy Sprout and MadisonMomsBlog.com, and we're talking about healthy cookies.
Yes, these are my protein cookies.
Okay.
Believe it or not, they're a chocolate chip cookie, but they're very healthy.
All right.
Loaded with good stuff, and they have a secret ingredient, which is what gives them all their protein. And
protein cookies.
Most people can't guess what the secret ingredient is when they taste them.
I'm dying to know.
Okay.
What is the secret ingredient,
Would you like to reveal?
What is it?
It's garbanzo beans, otherwise known as chickpeas. So not something that you think about being in a cookie.
No, and you can't tell they're there, really?
No, and it makes a great base for the cookie. And it's loaded with protein, fiber, magnesium, iron, all really good stuff for you and for developing children. It also has bananas and oats and maple syrup and chocolate chips, of course.
So it checks a lot of the columns you want to check.
Yes.
To find the recipe and get more great recipes, check out momseveryday.com.
Well, I was going to guess tofu, but anyway, these tips and more, if you need more tips, just go to WKYT.com and click on Mom's Every Day.
Yeah. We'll be sure to set aside some of those garbanzo cookies for Micah over there.
I'm sure he'd eat them up.
Yeah,
just don't tell him the secret ingredient.
If he doesn't know, that's right. More news coming up on WKYT this morning. We're rolling toward 4:50 on your Thursday.
Progress continues on the cleanup efforts along a portion of Interstate 75 in Tennessee after it was closed due to a rock slide. An update after the break. Welcome back to WKYT this morning. Your time is 4:52. Now, part of Interstate 75 in Tennessee that closed after a rock slide nearly a month ago will reopen this morning.
The Tennessee Department of Transportation says one northbound lane will reopen at 11 o'clock this morning in Campbell County, south of Jellicoe. The other northbound lane will still be closed while the crews continue removing slide and debris there and stabilizing that hill. Now, crews are hoping to have the project totally finished by April 15th. The southbound lanes in that area reopened a few weeks ago.
Well, spring is officially here, but it doesn't look like it in Denver. Check out these blizzard-like conditions. Snowstorms caused power outages. More than 135,000 residents across the state woke up to no electricity Wednesday morning. Hundreds of flights have been canceled. Schools and businesses were also shut down to give crews room to de-ice the roads.
Debris that washed up in Mozambique a few weeks ago most likely came from the missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. Australian and Malaysia officials made that revelation yesterday after concluding the dimensions, material, and construction of the parts conformed to those of the Boeing 777 M370 that disappeared 2 years ago with 239 people on board. A Boeing 777, as they call it. It's the only one known to be missing in the world, so the evidence mounts that these pieces are from that plane. You know,
it's terrible news.
Yeah. Time this morning is 4:54, and coming up, a look at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning.
And we'll have another look at your morning forecast coming up.
Good morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning. It's 4:57, rolling toward 5 o'clock.
Yep, and now it's time to take a look at some of the stories we're working on this morning.
The wait continues for family members of a missing Lexington native and her husband. Neither Stephanie nor Justin Schultz have been heard from since the terror attacks at the Brussels, Belgium airport Tuesday. Family members received reports saying that they had been found yesterday, but shortly after that they were told those reports were incorrect. So certainly the agonizing wait goes on. Let's check in with Micah now on weather, which could get interesting today.
Yeah, absolutely, especially the second half of your day. Afternoon, evening, that's what we're going to be watching out for. We're going to talk all about that coming up. Another 2 hours of WKYT News.